everyone. My name is Paulina. I'm a marketer working on Fuzel's campaign, and I've been living in District 24 for the past 15 years. Over the last couple years, I've seen a lot of change in my neighborhood, particularly around diversity. I used to be one of the first Filipino families in my building, but now there are families from all over the world, and we've seen a lot of changes in the businesses as well. There's a new South Indian pharmacy right on the corner that I go to. There's Corazon Latino, a Colombian restaurant. There's also a sushi spot that's new.
Slash Thai.
They're Chinese, but great sushi and great Thai food. The demographics have really changed, and we need a seat that reflects that change. We need someone who represents our issues and voices our concerns. So today we're speaking with Mahfouzul Islam, who's running for assembly in my district. And we just wanted to discuss some of his policies and how it affects our everyday lives. So, thanks, Mahfouzul. Hi.
Thanks for doing this.
Okay, so if you were a state assembly person right now, what would you be doing on a state level and a local level?
The first thing that comes to mind that we're all going through right now is this pandemic. And the thing that directly relates to this pandemic in terms of policy is Medicare for all. And what does Medicare for all mean, right? It's literally Medicare for all of us, also having health insurance. And what I believe the government's role is to protect us in terms of making sure we have our essential needs. Our health is taken care of, our shelter is taken care of, and our ability to have food on our table is taken care of. And not by taking care of, I don't mean providing all that, but giving us a safety net so there is a way where we don't slip through society. So Medicare for all is a way for us to not have to worry about, hey, should I not go to the hospital because I'm going to have a big bill afterwards? Should I not go to the doctor to take care of this ache I had for such a long period of time, or such a short period of time? I know that if I go to the hospital, I don't have to. The money will be an afterthought. And then, in addition, the fact that right now health insurance is tied to our employer. That shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't have to decide where we're going to work, decides whether or not we're going to have a better health in the long run. And so, at the forefront, this is what would come to my mind right now. But taking care of our essential needs.
Right, I totally agree. I mean, I heard of so many people in the neighborhood who are sick or have actually passed away, and I really worry about them. People who are cab drivers, people who are in the food service industry, or even undocumented folks are, as you said, slipping through the cracks with little to no support. So speaking of all these groups of people, many of these families are struggling with housing and rent. So how do you plan to address the current housing crisis?
Yeah, like I was saying, it's shelter is one of those essential needs. Having a roof over your head, and right now it's exacerbated. It's even bigger now. So what's happening right now? We have to decide between spending money on food and spending money on a place to live, and we need to be able to cancel rent and cancel mortgage during this time period, so that until the pandemic is at a stable place, so that we don't have to make this decision. And prior to this pandemic occurring, there was issues where we felt like our neighborhood was changing rapidly and we didn't have any say in what was happening. And so, we'd have to move out. Our rent is going up, and the mom and pop stores, small businesses that are in the area just can't survive when these changes are happening so rapidly, and they're not a part of the decision-making process, because there's that gap between those who are in power and those who can exert their power, right? And so, like, two policy things that we have as that we've been pushing through our campaign is the Euler Process and having an AMI, average median income, that reflects the neighborhood.
Sorry, what's the Euler Process you said?
Yeah, so the Euler Process is on the basic level. It's when a big developer comes in and they're trying to make whatever it is they're trying to make. They have a conversation with the folks that live in the neighborhood, and they propose they give the proposal, and then there's a negotiation process, and they come to a point where the neighborhood is like, all right, this is something we agree to, and only then can they start their development. So a development project.
Approval.
Exactly. And both parties are happy at the end of that, and the AMI, the average median income, it's like right now, median income, as we know, data can be misconstrued however you want, right? And the median income right now includes Westchester, includes Long Island, and as someone who lives in Jamaica, we don't necessarily make the same amount as someone living in like Huntington or somewhere else out there, right?
I'm taking a look at affordable housing and found that it is not affordable for me.
Exactly. And so it's like, how do we have affordable housing that's not like $2,000, $3,000, but actually the income that someone makes, or Briarwood, sorry, and having an average median income that's limited to that neighborhood, and so that we have truly affordable housing. That's one of the things we're trying to propose to this campaign.
Right. Well, thank you for breaking down these issues that affect us all, especially me. So you've been talking a lot about COVID, the pandemic. Why is it important that you run now?
If you think about it, like all the issues that we have, we keep having them. Back in 2008, we had our recession. My dad was laid off, and I was very young. I was middle school, or I was young. I don't forget where, elementary school, right? And I had to he's never had a resume before, so I had to create a resume for him. And I had to look at job listings and Google whatever I could Google and figure out the process, and a lot of people had to go through that time period. And now, flash forward 2020, even more people are going to have to go through that. I have the lucky situation where I'm older and have more experience, and I could help him better through this process. He's been laid off again, and many more kids are going to have to do that right now.
That just sounds so familiar. When I was a kid, I was always translating government documents to English, or whenever my mom has to call someone, I would just call right next to her and make sure that everything's okay. So, I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah. So many of us have to do this, and like I said, it's cyclical, and all these issues that we have in our neighborhood, it's always on the back of our mind. We're always thinking, hey, like, why is this pothole here? To why am I struggling artist, and why is no one telling me what I should do to get to where I need to get to? And so, like, when it comes down to, like, politics is all of this, and what we talk about participatory democracy in our in our policy platform is being able to have a bottom-up approach where like me and you and your neighbor can be a part of this process, and the person in the seat doesn't have to make the decisions to decide how our lives are best lived. And so what it comes out to, why we're running, why we have this campaign, is because we don't want things to change. We don't want things to remain the same how they have remained for such a long period of time in our lives.
Mafuzal, thank you so much for talking about these concerns that are usually not talked about, and for demystifying these issues and really creating change. For everyone at home, I hope this was helpful. Please check out our social media, and remember that the primary is June 23rd, and don't forget to complete your absentee ballot by June 16th.